Hey everyone, Varric here. So for this video we're going to go over Heroic Primordius. Now for the most part this fight behaves the same exact way on Heroic as it does on normal. There's really just one new added mechanic that we need to deal with on Heroic. But before I get to that, I quickly just want to kind of go over a little review of some of the abilities that we need to look out for. Now as for Primordius himself, he pretty much does the same exact things on Heroic that he does on normal. In fact, the strat is still going to be the same. Your tanks are still going to kite him around in the circle. Your tanks are still going to want to keep him out of the purple or the volatile pools on the ground. And there's still probably going to be a lot more emphasis on tank switching for this fight. So that's pretty much it as far as he's concerned. Now the only new thing that he does is on Heroic mode. Instead of getting 3 out of the possible 6 random mutations he gains, he now gains 4 of these 6 random mutations. So again, it's just a little extra damage going out. It's not a whole lot of difference other than that. Real quickly, I'm just going to go over the mutations and kind of point out the more dangerous ones that we need to look out for. First one being Ventral Sacs. Again, this is just raid-wide nature damage. There's not a lot you can do about it. It's not very dangerous in and of itself. Gas Bladder, which is when you cast the Caustic Gas, which is that ring. The more people that are in the ring, the less damage each person will take. So if you're close enough, run in and help disperse the damage. Acidic Spines, this one's a little bit painful. Of course, it'll hit you and with anybody within 5 yards of you, so just stay spread out. Metabolic Boost, his attack speed will go up by 50%. Now these last two are probably the most dangerous, or actually are the most dangerous, and the ones you definitely need to look out for. The first being Erupting Pustules. That's the one where he will rain down like the little corrosive blood, and if it hits the ground, anybody that's within 3 yards of the effect will take, I think it's like 350 to 400k damage. It's pretty painful. So by all means, if you see it coming or if you can avoid it, you need to, because with anything else going out like Acidic Spines or Ventral Sacs or something like that, it's probably going to kill you. So just try to stay spread out as much as possible and make sure you keep on the move to get away from that. And the last one, probably the most dangerous one, is the Pathogen Glands mutation. This is the one where he will cast Volatile Pathogen on a random raid member. And I believe on normal it does, I think it's something like 70,000 damage per second for 10 seconds. On Heroic, I believe that's over 100,000 damage per second for 10 seconds. So if this is casted on you, you immediately need to call out to your healers that you have this so they can focus heal you. Because with this and any other damage, especially if you get near Erupting Pustules or Acidic Spines, you're probably going to die. That's just too much damage too soon. So stay spread out and make sure that you call out if you have Volatile Pathogen. And that's pretty much it for Primordius. Again, he will either gain a evolution level by having absorbing enough of the living fluids, or if he should step on the volatile or the purple pools on the ground. But that's pretty much it. He behaves pretty much the same exact way. The living fluids are the exact same on Heroic. They just have more health. They still, when they are killed, they still will drop 1 or 2 of the puddles. The first one being Mutagenic Pool, which is the helpful one that you want to step on, which will give you a helpful mutation. The second puddle, or the volatile puddle, is the purple one, which you don't want to step on, which will give you a negative debuff if you should step on it. So stay away from the purple pools. And again, once you've gained 5 of the random helpful mutations, you will become fully evolved, and then you will be able to do full damage on Primordius. So that part hasn't changed. Now the new added mechanic that we're going to have to deal with is actually a new add called a Vicious Horror. And it looks like the big black blobs in the trash on the way to Primordius. They're kind of hard to miss. And these also will spawn from the puddles around the room. It's kind of evident when they spawn because it's like a big black bubbling cloud. So it's kind of a telltale when they're coming out. And this is very important. Just like the living fluids, they will make a beeline for Primordius. However, they move a lot faster than the living fluids. And the most dangerous thing about this is if the Vicious Horror should come into contact with Primordius, it's a wipe. If it does come in contact with Primordius, it will cast an ability called Deadly Mutagen, which does 1,000,000 raid-wide damage, which again will instantly kill everybody. So It's very important that you keep an eye out when these are spawning, and your tanks need to be very quick on picking these up. If your tanks are out of range and you happen to be closer, by all means misdirect to your tank. You definitely do not want this getting anywhere near Primordius. I should mention that there is kind of a shitty RNG factor in this fight, because again, they can spawn from any of the pools around the room, and on numerous occasions we've had the Vicious Horse spawn pretty much right next to Primordius, and you barely have a second to react to get it away from him. So we did have a couple of wipes from this. It's kind of annoying. And I'll explain a way to keep that from happening. Now, just like on normal mode, you're still going to want to try to get it fully evolved, or have all your DPS get fully evolved as quickly as they can. Obviously, you want to start doing as much full damage on Primordius as fast as possible. However, on heroic mode, your priority is going to shift to the Vicious Horror. Now, the way the Vicious Horror will spawn is, I think the first one spawns about 12 seconds into the fight. They don't have a ton of health. However, the first 2 or 3 are probably going to take a little bit longer to kill, because you're not going to have a lot of your DPS that's either, one, is not going to be fully mutated, and probably not going to have a ton of the helpful mutations on them quite yet. So they are going to take just a little bit longer to kill. So it's very important that all your DPS burn down the first couple, or probably the first 3 or so Vicious Horrors, before you start really worrying about DPSing Primordius himself. The reason this becomes important is you want to burn these down as quickly as possible. Now, once the first one spawns and it dies, 30 seconds after that for the rest of the fight, you're going to have to deal with a new Vicious Horror. So you only have 30 seconds in between each Vicious Horror. The quicker you kill these, the better off you're going to be, and the higher your success rate is going to be. The reason for this is, one, you want to kill these as fast as possible, obviously, so you can go back to grabbing some of the helpful mutations so you can become fully evolved, and then again you can start DPSing Primordius himself faster. The second reason is, anytime that your tanks are getting attacked by the Vicious Horror, they're going to gain a buff called Black Blood. And when they have this on them, when you do a tank switch, when they start attacking Primordius, they're going to put a debuff on him that does, I think it's like 20,000 damage for each time they attack this guy. And it will last on him for 20 seconds, and this ability stacks. So it's very important that your tanks keep that particular ability ticking on him the entire fight. In fact, your tanks becoming fully evolved is probably just about as important as your DPS becoming fully involved. Once they become fully evolved and they have this black blood ticking on Primordius, their damage is going to skyrocket. In fact, there's a good chance your tank's DPS may start to outdo your main DPS on Primordius. So it's very important that your tanks become evolved just about as fast as your DPS. The best way to probably make this to work is that you want some type of really good AoE class, like in our case a Warlock, to prioritize dotting and killing a bunch of the living fluids so they can get the mutagenic pools on the ground, so they can kind of soak those up in between the Vicious Horrors. And this is why it becomes important to kill these Vicious Horrors as quickly as possible. You want to give them enough time to, one, to be able to tank switch, and two, make sure they have at least a few seconds to run around and gain some of the mutagenic pools, so they can themselves become fully evolved, as it just makes things a lot easier on this fight if your tanks are also fully evolved. Now, obviously, once your tanks get fully evolved, and a few of the other DPS have at least gotten 3 or 4 of the helpful mutations, the Vicious Horrors will start to die very quickly. And then again, this makes things a lot easier. But it's very important that if everybody's evolution falls off, or they lose their buffs, that they need to call out help on the Vicious Horror. For us, we actually assigned 1 or 2 DPS that were strictly on Vicious Horror duty the entire time. And if they died quick enough and they were fully evolved, then by all means they could help on Primordius. But their main focus was to make sure the Vicious Horrors die as fast as possible, and they call out if they need help if it's not going down fast enough. And really that's the key to this fight, is making sure the Vicious Horrors just die very fast. Once that starts to happen, this fight becomes pretty much the same exact thing as normal mode. But that's really it. That's other than the Vicious Horror, the fight pretty much behaves the same way. Just real quick review, make sure you stay spread out. If you should get the volatile pathogen on you, make sure you call out to your healers so they can focus heal you. Do not stand in the purple pools. Make sure that you're burning down the vicious horde as quickly as possible. If you have any downtime between killing the vicious horde and you're not fully evolved, help out on the living fluid so you can help kill them quicker, so you can have more pools on the ground, so your tanks can also get fully evolved as fast as possible. But that's pretty much it. If I left out anything or if I missed something, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Hopefully the video was helpful. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you later.